Hey guys, what is up? It is Ryan Sneaks back with another sneaker video, and it is another Yeezy Boost 350 legit check, this time on the Pirate Blacks. I couldn't stress enough in my last video how to check it, and some people still didn't understand and still didn't get it. So what I'm going to be doing on this one right here is I'm going to be picturing my pair, which is 100% legit. This one happens to be from Shoe Palace. I'm going to be comparing it to pictures that people have sent me that are fakes. So I'm not like using y'all's pictures and putting y'all's names in there if y'all sent me anything, so don't worry about that. I'm just putting the pictures that were sent just to kind of give you a side-by-side comparison, because I've been offered fakes by fake companies to do reviews on them and to help, I guess, get their products out, but I'm not going to do that. It was kind of tempting, like, to get a fake pair in to kind of do a side-by-side comparison, but I just don't want to support them in any way. So I'm not kind of dissing anybody that wears fakes or anything. I'm just trying to help the people that want to get real ones. So into the box here. A couple things you want to check out first is to see if this guy right here is proportional first. Always make sure that his arms, his legs are always proportionate to the other ones. He's centered within the box. You always want to make sure of that, because if it's not, then it's going to be fake. Another thing to check, this one's mainly for the ladies here. I know a lot of y'all have sent me some where it has a girl on there. And with Yeezy Boost 350s and 750s, they only come in men's sizing. So if you get anything with a girl in a dress or anything like that, it's going to be 100% fake. Now, if you're looking at the 950 Yeezy Boost, they do have women ones. I don't own any personally, but I do know they do come in women, so that's a whole different story. But for 350s, 750s, always going to be a boy. Now, this is the first pair of Pirate Blacks. This isn't the second one, as you can tell right here. That is the color code for that one. It was just Pirate Black, Pirate Black, Pirate Black. On the new one, it's like Pirate Black, Bluegrass, and Core Black maybe, I'm not too sure. But I do not own that one, I just own the first one. And as you can tell, my barcode is covered up by that one because it was purchased at Shoe Palace. They put their own little labels on them as well. And I know a lot of people ask me about the UPC. With UPC, you can either get the big number on there like that, or you can get the small number. I know a lot of people ask me if UPC means real or EAN means real, or which one's fake. They're both real, they're just from different regions. So, I mean, it's going to be real no matter what. There's just a couple things to check when you're looking at that. With UPC, you can get this box right here, which has the 12 and the big lettering. Or you can get it in this box right here, where it has 11.5 with the small little boxes and everything. You can get that one. As you can see, it says EAN here though. So you might be asking, well, that one says EAN, why is it not UPC? Well, UPC can be used on either label. You can have a UPC on this one. If you're using an EAN on your label, it always has to be this label. UPC can go back and forth. It can be whichever one. EAN has to be this one. I'm not too sure why they did it that way. This is my Oxford 10s, which I purchased from, I think, the Seoul, Korea flagship store. So that one, it always has to be like that if it's going to be coming from overseas. If you're here in like United States, Canada, you're probably going to get hit with the UPC one that's regular, like the regular one I have. I know that's a little hard to follow because it kind of goes back and forth, but pretty much if you get a UPC, you can use that one right there. You can also use it on the small boxes. UPC goes both ways. EAN has to be the small ones. So after you check that it's a boy, he's centered, he's proportional, that's pretty much all you really need to check. If you get a sticker like this, that's going to mean it's either from Nice Kicks or from Shoe Palace, because they're both the same company. If you get little stickers like that, it's always kind of a good thing to check for. Foot Locker, Eastbay Champs, Foot Action, they use that big one that says 200 on there. The only thing that I would say about that is that fakes have caught on to that and they're doing the same sticker. So if you see that sticker, it doesn't mean it's 100% legit. You still want to check that one out. Now, when buying Yeezys, you're always going to want to ask for a receipt or some type of proof of purchase with it. It's kind of hard because I know a lot of resellers buy them in bulk and they can either make you a copy or just say like, well, we have one copy and that's it. Luckily, the guy I got it from had a bunch on his ticket, but he did give me the little raffle ticket he had. I'm kind of blocking out his phone number because I don't need y'all to get that hold of him. But he did give me that still. And then you're always going to want to ask for this. If it's used or if it's worn, this little tag is always going to be on the right shoe. Never on the left, always the right. Now, like I said, with the receipts, you want to make sure there's no Kyle Ramos or Selena on them because those are absolute fakes. But after that, now we get into the sneaker. So all that stuff doesn't really matter. It's kind of a good way to help you check, but I know a lot of people are going to be like, who cares about the box? Who cares about the tags? Well, if you're trying to make sure it's real, you want to make sure that that stuff kind of matches up. So in my last video, I talked about how the UPC or EAN matches up within the shoe, but fakes are doing that now, so I'm not even going to step towards that. Most thing that I want to talk about is going to be the boost, which is the best way to check for me. Alright, so the boost, as you can see, it's kind of not that great of a little shot right here. It's kind of dirty. Maybe if I move my hand out of the way. There you go, it's a little bit better. It's going to have that texture going all the way through. As you see, there's like little dots and ridges in there. And then you're going to want to look for the 2, 2, 2, 1 dimples. It's not that, I mean, a lot of fakes are getting that down now, so it's not something to always check for. But it is better to look for that because that's the way legit is supposed to look. Maybe if I dim the light, you can see the texture a little bit better. But I have seen a couple of them that look a little bit better than the others with the fake boost. I'll put some pictures of some fake boosts up right now so you can kind of take a look. And as you can see, I mean, they just don't look good. Even if it has a texture, you can still tell they're fake compared to mine. I'll put an HD picture of mine coming up soon. And then I'll actually like tell you it's legit so you know which one is mine. But the thing that I always check for is, even if it looks good, if you can kind of see those little dots on the outside right here, like there's one right there, another one right there, another one right there. It's like these little dots on the outer rim. You're going to want to make sure those are there, because the fakes that I have seen do not have that. Even if it's good looking boost, it's not going to have those little dimples on the outside. I don't know why. I don't know if it's too hard for them to get, but I've always noticed that. The second part that I want to talk about on the boost, which is also a pretty good way to tell because I see a lot of fakes leave this part out, is these little windows right here. If you zoom in close enough, you will see that they have like these little circles with lines through them. And I know a lot of fakes do not have that. Legit ones always will have that, so that's always a good thing to check for. I know I didn't talk about that in my last video. I kind of overlooked that. So if you're looking to get a real pair, always make sure the boost looks good and then that it has those little dots in there. So if it has that, you're pretty much good. There's still a lot of things you want to check because I don't know if fakes are pushing those out now or what, but I have noticed that I haven't seen anything like that. The next thing to check is, of course, the backs, which is notorious for getting fucked up. The backs right here, as you can tell, they don't match completely perfect. Some of them kind of look like they're close to matching, but it is not going to line up perfectly. I have a picture of turtle doves that I've been using for my other videos where they're matched up perfect in the back. And that's supposed to be considered one of the better replicas at the time. You want to make sure that they're not matched up. You want to make sure that they kind of are sporadic and don't match up perfectly, because if they do, then it is fake. One thing to check for within the pattern is the eye, or the 8, or whatever they want to call it. It's going to be that right there. As you can see, it's kind of like a little empty spot. Just right there. That was like the big way to tell back in the day when they first released. Now fakes are getting a little bit better at that. So it's not 100% anymore, but you want to make sure it has that because, of course, that is a way to tell. You also want to make sure that the pattern is going up. Fakes will go straight across. Reals are supposed to go up like that. So that's a good way to tell. With Pirate Blacks and Turtle Doves, what I've noticed is the suede is not that great of quality. I mean, it's pretty good, but when compared to Moon Rocks and Oxford Tan, it's a little bit longer suede on those, which is a little bit nicer. But with this, you do want to make sure that that logo is not too big or too small. It's about the size of a fingernail, if at most. So you want to make sure of that. It's going to be the same thing on the Yeezy logo right here, but I have seen quite a few where it's like a huge logo or too small, and that's just going to be fake. With the laces on them, you're going to want to make sure they're like a good quality thick lace. It's not going to be as thick as would be like on the Turtle Doves right here. These laces are really thick and nice, but compared to these, it's not going to be as good. It's not going to have that big of a contrast on the lace either. It's going to look kind of like a smoky gray, kind of like the lighter part of the shoe, and then the tips on them are going to be black, because I've seen some fakes where all the insides are white or all the insides are black. It just kind of goes back and forth, but you want to make sure of that. Another thing to make sure is the cut of the shoe and also the tabs. The tab is going to be lined up pretty normal right here. I haven't seen anything on a real pair that's anything different than that. Maybe on the 2016 pair it's a little bit higher up just because it's a higher cut. But with the 2015, it's going to be this. I've seen some where the tabs are pretty low or too high. It's always going to be that perfect little centered match right there. And then with the cut of the shoe, you're going to want to make sure it's not too high or too low. I've seen some fakes that are too straight, and then some that cut down to about right here, which is like way too low. But like I said, a lot of the fakes have gotten a little bit better and I've gotten that down. The real reason I'm making this is just to help you guys, and the way I check the best is the boost. One way that used to be like the way to tell back when they first came out was the insole. It's supposed to be that Adidas logo and it's not supposed to stick out at all. But now it's kind of gotten to the point where they all have it. And then another thing is, like, there's like a big thick line on a lot of the fakes that I see that goes all the way through. I don't know what that line is, but I see it on a lot of the fakes people send me. It's like a real thick line that's embossed in there. I'll see if I have a picture and kind of throw it up for you guys. I'm not too sure if I have any of it. But I've always seen that, and for some reason it's always on fakes and I don't know why. That's the actual color they're printing on the insole. Mine's kind of warm because they're used, but you get the picture. The back stitching in them is going to be black. It's not going to be white or blue or anything, and the stripe going down is going to be black. That's pretty much it. Like I said, you want to also make sure the UPC and EAN matches up on the code of your label inside. But a lot of fakes have already gotten that down. I know a lot of people on my last video were saying, oh, mine matched the real. That was it. And I tried to like edit that video and put something else in there saying it's like not 100% sure anymore, like fakes are matching it. But people kind of overlook that because they see that I say that, and I guess that kind of just triggers them to think it's real. So I'm not really going to go over that because that's something that's been fixed by the fakes. But like I said, the main reason I did this is to help you guys out, and I really hope you guys check the boost because that is the best way to check. Besides that, I mean, it's kind of just a toss-up now. Fakes are getting a lot better. The boost has come a long way from there. But if you're looking to buy Authentics, hopefully this will be a good guide for you to refer to. I know that other one I did was kind of long, and I just kind of wanted to narrow it down to one sneaker per video now. But hopefully this helps. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.